Do not get an Ackie Monitor, guys. I'm serious. Do not get an Ackie Monitor if you're at least one of these upcoming 5 individuals. Hey guys, how's it going? You know, it's the beginning of a new year. I'll be completely bald. Yellow Ackie, Reptile. Hey guys, how's it going today? We are going to be talking about people who should not get an Ackie Monitor. These are individuals who are not going to get the full extent of what Ackies have to offer, and where Ackies probably are not the best pet for them. So if you fall into at least one of these categories, you probably might want to look for a different pet reptile, because you're really not going to get the full Ackie experience. Let's hop into it, guys, though, and let's start at number 5. Also, I did totally forget to wear the tier 3 patrons on my head throughout the intro, so I'm just gonna wear them throughout the whole entire video because I screwed up, except Darian J. Darian J for some, hold on. Darian, this is about the 3rd J I've torn off your name after I'm done the videos and tear them off my head. So, Darian, you need more stickers. I'm sorry, but you're in my heart. What's a Arita Stack? Do you know? You should, and it's not even all about being able to design one and implement one. It's not even about that. It's about the concept. The concept is that you should have multiple different basking layers where they can go, they can be hidden sometimes, especially if you have a duo or trio, and they can feel secure. We're talking about multiple basking ranges, temperature ranges. We want sometimes to hit that sky high 160 mark, if you ever so dare. I do. Or you might want to go lower to around 130, even lower sometimes. You know, in the mornings, my guys usually go to the hottest spots. But then throughout the day, they tend to kind of lay about in lower temperature ranges, but around the basking spot. So you want to be able to offer different temperatures they can bask in, so they can pick and choose if they want a quick bask, a longer bask. Do they want to relax? Do they just want to digest really quickly? You know, generally Ackies are quick baskers, but they can go ahead and spend longer times in a little bit lower of their typical basking temperature range. I can feel one of you guys falling off my head right now. And while I did say this is more about concept than actual implementation, don't let that discourage you from implementing Arita Stack, because that's a great way to implement that concept. I just go about things differently. I like the concept, but I just don't use them. I might one day, but for now, I think I implement it pretty well with the current design, so I'm happy, but maybe one day. Oh, and yes, if you are very observant, you might have noticed that I know how to pronounce Frank Ritas' last name now. It is not Rites. I had an oh poop moment down in Iguana Land when Ty Park said his name.
No, man, I take the back. I think Frank has some back then, Frank Ritas.
I didn't recognize who he was talking about at first, and I was like, oh shoot, I've been pronouncing his name wrong all the time. So now I got it, unless he's pronouncing it wrong, which is a whole different problem. Sorry, patrons, your stickiness was wearing off, but at number 4, we're gonna be talking about being a worrywart. People who just like to worry, and I am one of these people, to the extreme. I worry about everything. Just today, I accidentally let go a little too early on, I just spit at the camera, a little too early on one of the hides when I was lifting it off of my Ackies to feed them, and it freaked one of them out. And I was worrying all day, or what if I dropped it on his finger? He's fine, and BDA's a beast, so not too worried. I just overreact, and that's a lot of what you'll be doing in the beginning of their lives when you get them as babies. They are extreme hiders. Sometimes you don't know if they're eating. Sometimes you don't know if they're basking. Could be hard to see their bathroom habits. And these are all things you need to know about to ensure their health. So this leads to a lot of people worrying. I get so many messages from people worrying, and it's a good thing to worry. But if you are an over-worrier, then you might not want to get an Ackie. And let me give you guys dealing with a baby Ackie right now a little piece of advice. 9 out of 10, not even 9 out of 10, 999 out of 1,000 times, your baby Akkie's doing just fine. It's great that you're worrying. It shows that you care and you're really invested, so that's awesome. But don't overstress yourself. Trust me, you might not be seeing all the things they're doing, but when you're out of the room, they're going about basking, they're pooping, they're eating something if you left it in there for them to hunt down. They're doing all that, so don't worry. If you really want to make sure, get an at-home camera, pop it in your Ackie enclosure, and you can see them without disturbing them. So don't worry, guys. That's my piece of advice I give to pretty much everyone who contacts me. Like a lot of other other monitor lizards, you really have the potential to see some really high-level intelligent behavior from them. But in order to do so, you need to put the time in. And this, depending on how strong of a relationship you want, can be very consuming. I mean, when I first got Asus and Dell, this pair I have such a connection and trust established with. I spend hours with them every day almost, and I cannot describe in words how our relationship is today. There's just so much trust there. I have videos that I want to show as shorts. I have to make sure I'm allowed first because they're for something else. But just showing how much they trust me and respect me and care not to hurt me. And I can very evidently see how much more established my relationship is with them, especially after getting my Hendrick pair or having a couple holdbacks from their 2 first clutches. My relationships with my other Ackies are just fine. I can hold them, pick them up, they'll be chill, but they don't have that same established respect and trust with me that Asus and Dell do. Asus and Dell sprint to me when I open the door always, and don't get me wrong, that is probably highly food motivated, but my other Ackies, they are very tentative about coming to me when I first open the door, like, are you an ally today? Are you something I should fear? There is none of that with Asus and Dell. They run right out to me, see what's going on, see if I got some food for them, whatever. And if I don't, they'll immediately start crawling up me, hanging out with me, and they have no fear of me. It is really hard to describe it where it seems substantial, but I've noticed so many little things from them that I don't see in my other relationships with my Ackies or other reptiles. It is truly an extraordinary connection I have with them. So if you are willing to put in that time, you too can have that connection with your guy and then really get the most out of having an Ackie. I recommend committing as much time as you can to them. If you can't, yes, an Ackie might not be for you, but also you don't necessarily need to have this really incredible relationship with them to be able to enjoy them. You can have a more chill relationship, less interactive one. You're just not going to get the full benefits. So maybe this isn't one that should totally dissuade you from getting an Ackie, but definitely something to consider. I think number 2 falls quite in line with number 3. You really want to go above and beyond with these guys. I take pride in offering bigger than typical enclosures with great enrichment and all the nice elements they would want and have in their natural environments with all of my reptiles, but particularly Ackies, they will harness all you give them. Every bit of space, every bit of climbing, every crevice. There's so much you can do, so you really want to set up an enclosure that can give them everything they want and let them explore and have fun. You will truly see unique behaviors that a lot of other keepers do not see if you offer these things. I've seen my Ackies climb twigs that you would never think an adult Ackie could climb. I've seen them reach into crevices for crickets that you would probably never think they would find. It is incredible what they can do and how they can hunt and trick each other and interact with each other. If you have a duo or trio in this case, of course, obviously make sure you know what you're doing first.
Because knowledge is power.
But if you do, you can really bring out all these crazy behaviors that they have that I think people who stick them in average or below average environments will probably never see. Have you really seen how fast an Ackie could run? I mean, really. They are super fast. They almost look like the little cartoons where they run in place for a little bit and they have their like little arms or feet spinning like that and stuff. They look like that. That's how I describe it. So look, maybe you can't spend as much time taming them as you would like to establish that extraordinary bond we talked about a little bit ago. But maybe what you can do is build this awesome enclosure for them, so at least you get to watch them have this incredible life and do these incredible things and enjoy them a little bit more than the average person. So think about that. I think that's a strong contender for possibly not getting an Ackie if you can't provide that. Finally, number 1, guys, this is a pretty straightforward one. If you do not like insects, you're not gonna like Ackies. I mean, yes, you can get all gloved up, you can make sure you use tweezers and stuff, but trust me, a dubia roach is gonna crawl up you. A cricket's gonna get loose. I have crickets in my reptile room, in my garage. I have dubia roaches sometimes running around. One ran over Olivia's foot the other day, and trust me, that was quite the, I don't know how to describe it. It was quite a thing, let's go with. But if you're really not open to working with insects to some degree, and probably even making a colony of dubia roaches or something so you don't spend a ton of money, then an Ackie Monitor probably is a direction you don't want to go. They are invertebrates. They primarily eat inverts. My guys only eat invertebrates. Hornworms, superworms, dubia roaches, banded crickets, black soldier fly larvae. That's what they eat. Only time I'll add in something different is right after a female laid, I will give a couple pinkies. But I am not a big fan of offering things like pinkies, ground turkey, egg. I don't really find it necessary, especially when you can give them a more well-rounded diet in captivity. They do seek out proteins in the wild, like smaller lizards, but I believe in captivity that's not as necessary because we can provide a more well-rounded invertebrate diet. But it is okay if you do that in small portions. I'm not gonna say that's a problem. I personally don't do it though. Essentially, what this all comes down to is that you're gonna have like 90% of their diet being bugs, and bugs that are gonna crawl and creep and maybe skeeve you out. So do know that. That's probably a very important thing you need to get over it before you get an Ackie. Anyway, guys, those are my 5 reasons you probably should not get an Ackie Monitor. You may not be the perfect fit for an Ackie Monitor. Let me know if you have any of your own in a comment below. Otherwise, guys, you can get $5 off your first purchase of Reptile links by using code Professor Herp at checkout. Perhaps not for Ackies, but if you have a Tegu, hognose snake, blue-tongued skink, or some other reptiles, this would be ideal. A great, well-rounded, nutritious diet. Use code Professor Herp at checkout. Otherwise, guys, I appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, guys.